Hey guys, hope you're all doing well. I just wanted to talk a little bit about last minute lesson cancellations and why they're such a pain in the arse for guitar tutors and what you can do to minimise their impact if you're just starting out giving lessons. So recently I've had a few last minute cancellations myself that inspired me to make this video and address this for any students or parents of students who think it's okay to call 5 minutes before a lesson and cancel. It's not okay. It's not. Now, I can understand and get over a child not realising that this is not okay. I mean, yeah, they're a kid. Obviously, they're not going to realise. But a parent or anyone over the age of 18 with real-world financial responsibilities, you should really know better. Let me put it this way. If for some reason you had to take unpaid time off work to go to a doctor's appointment or meet with a solicitor or view a house that you wanted to buy or whatever it might be, and then they called you 5 minutes before the appointment to cancel, you'd be pretty pissed. Let's be honest. You'd probably even want some kind of compensation for the loss of income that you've suffered as a result. That'd be fair. Fortunately for you, most employers will let you take time off for this sort of thing, or at the very least, let you take time out of your holiday entitlement. But for guitar tutors, it's not the same. We're self-employed, and therefore we don't get holiday pay, and we don't get sick pay. So when you cancel 5 minutes before a lesson, that has a direct and very real impact on our income, and as a result, our ability to pay our bills, put a roof over our head, and keep food on our table. I mean, I might be biased here, but is that not blindingly obvious? So please, take a minute to consider this before cancelling last minute, because not only does it directly affect our income, but we can't even reallocate that time to other students to try and avoid incurring a loss, and it's really quite annoying. Of course, there are going to be unforeseen circumstances and situations where it can't be avoided. I mean, if you fell and broke your leg on the way to a lesson, obviously I wouldn't expect you to make it. I am a relatively reasonable human being. But these type of circumstances and situations don't miraculously occur at the same time each week, 5 minutes before the lesson. And there's only a small number of circumstances that I would consider fall into this kind of category. Obviously, if you do have an ongoing situation, then do let me know about it. I'll always try and go out of my way as much as I can to accommodate your circumstances, but only as long as I know about it in advance. So how do you minimise the impact of last minute cancellations if you're a tutor just starting out? Simple. Charge for lessons in advance. Charge for your lessons in advance and make students and parents aware that if they cancel last minute without exceptional circumstances, then the lesson fee is going to be forfeit and they'll have to pay it again. This is something that I learned the hard way many years ago after a series of students began to basically just take the piss. I never really wanted to charge in advance for lessons because I felt it would somehow negatively impact my business by causing me to maybe lose students or not be able to gain any new ones. So it took a really bad experience for me to learn that as a self-employed person, it's actually in my best interest to protect my business with this kind of thing, and that my time and my services are of value and should be respected. And what I found was that people were actually more than willing to accept this, and it had no negative impact whatsoever. In fact, I'd go so far as to say that it greatly improved my business because it added a sort of layer of formality that showed students I was serious and not to be taken for a ride. It also had the benefit of quickly weeding out new students that weren't taking me or their lessons seriously. So, if you can, learn from my mistake and take these kind of measures preemptively. What I do now is straight from the very first phone call or email exchange, I let parents and students know that after the first lesson, all future lessons need to be paid for in advance. So this means that they pay for the first lesson on the day and then either pay electronically in advance for the second lesson or pay in cash for the second and the third lesson on the day of the actual second lesson, if that makes sense. After this point, they're always paid one lesson in advance, and the deal is that if they give me less than 24 hours notice to cancel or reschedule, then they lose that advanced lesson and have to pay for another one. It's also worth mentioning at this point that I hold myself to the same policy in the interest of fairness, so if I give less than 24 hours notice to cancel or reschedule without exceptional circumstances, then the student gets a free lesson. I then send them all this in writing so that there's absolute clarity on both sides, and that's it. I now have very few problems with last minute cancellations, and whenever I do have a last minute cancellation, it's no big deal because I'm not left out of pocket. So I hope this sheds some light on this issue for any potential students and parents out there, or at the very least offers some helpful advice for anyone just starting or thinking about starting to teach guitar. So until next time, thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you soon.